Hi, so I'm a couple of days late with this update that I usually do every week, and I've got a really good reason for it this time. On Saturday we went out viewing houses, and then by Saturday afternoon we decided to buy one of them. So we've had paperwork and things, and I was working on Sunday for most of the day, which I'm quite glad of now because I'll probably need to claim those hours back. Going to the lawyers and signing paperwork and going to the mortgage brokers and all of that kind of stuff. So the plan is that we'll move in September 1st, or at least get the keys then. So yes, that's why I haven't done a whole lot of sewing. So as you can see behind me, I've still got the Bear and the Log Cabin quilt to do. I've quilted most of one block, and there are 36 blocks, so it's not even worth me showing you that. In fabric acquisition news, I've just received today another lump of this dinosaur print by Lizzie House. It's really hard to find now, and I actually wanted it in the greeny blue colour. I've got it because I'm not sure about the shirt that I made before, and I want to have a go at making something else with it, maybe a skirt or something. I'll show you the shirt now, but I've had to make lots of adjustments because I made it too big. I went by my measurements, and somehow this seems to happen every time with patterns, and I don't like to make a muslin because I'm worried that that's a waste of my time and fabric, which probably I really should probably do that, because I have a lot of projects that I make clothes wise that I'm never too happy with the fit for one reason or another. So I'll just show you that shirt now. This is my dinosaur shirt. It's full length sleeves. It buttons down. I'm happy with the sleeves, but I've had to, because it was so wide and it was so baggy, it was like an art smock or something. I ended up taking it in at the back. There's like this little fold, and it's supposed to just kind of be folded in and stitched down at the top there on this little seam that goes across. But I ended up stitching it all the way down the back because I used it to take it in, and I also took it in at the sides as well. And now the problem I have is that the armpit area is too big, so I need to reduce the armholes somehow. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that, and maybe the best way to do it would be to actually just make this into something else, like take the sleeves off entirely or something. So if you've got any ideas on how to adjust that and not completely ruin it, that would be good. Otherwise I might just start another project with the other fabric that might be a bit simpler, and yeah, with a few less features on it, and make sure I measure properly and try it on as I work my way through. So that's one of the fabrics. The other couple of fabrics I've bought are, I've got this panel which is now cut into pieces to make a bag, which there'll be more about in a minute. I'll tell you more about the pattern and where the pattern is, because I have a plan for it. But this was a panel, I think it's called Artisan Shimmer or Artisan Spirit, something like that. And it kind of starts with this kind of, this is probably a good way to see it. It starts off like dark green and it works its way down. But it is a panel which is about ½ metre or 0.6 of a metre, and I've got enough fabric in there to make a small handbag out of. As I say, more on that in a minute. And then the other fabric I bought was to match the panels that I had for the Canada quilt that I've been meaning to make for ages, and my plan was to finish it for July 1st, and I didn't. I've cut up some blocks to make maple leaf blocks, and I've cut out the panels to the size so that they're all regular, because some of the panels were bigger than the other. But then they brought out some more, so there's 8 new panels. So there's Jasper, there's Whistler, just taking a sticker off at the same time, there's Yellowknife, New Brunswick in general rather than a town name, Niagara Falls, over to Maroon Lake, which I'm going to stand up, make sure you can see it. That's sort of near where we are, but it's not really a town, it's a lake. Iqaluit. And then the last one there is Churchill, which is my favourite one, with the polar bears on. So I'm probably going to make my quilt a bit wider and just add them to the sides. I might have to adjust the number of maple leaf blocks I was going to make, and the other stalling point I have on that quilt is that I wanted to put a couple of animal appliques, and I wasn't happy with the ones I'd drawn, so I need to just revisit that project because it will be a really quick project to sew up. And then I'm planning on offering it as a pattern as well, and then you could just use any kind of feature fabrics that you want to cut quite large. You don't have to stick to the panels I have there, you could choose other kind of Canadiana kind of prints. Back onto bags now. I got this book this week, Windy City Bags by Sara Lawson. So she's Sara from So Sweetness, and I've decided I'm going to make every single project in this book. which I've never done before. So that's what the project I'd cut out is. I'll show you which one that one is. So as we're working through, this one's called Hey Mercedes. It's kind of a large shoulder bag. The next one in here is called Delilah, which is a small kind of one shoulder bag. Almost like a clutch really with a strap. The next project in here is my favourite. This one is called Sweet Talk. And it's got like a solid top here, which kind of snaps together. It's one of my favourite kind of styles. It's kind of retro-ish. All of these are kind of structured bags as well, which is probably why I like them, because I don't really like baggy, slouchy bags. So as you can see, that's a close-up of how the top works. And then this next one is called Woodson, which is nice as well. And the feature is the straps go through eyelets. Again, it's quite small. Most of these projects are quite small. There are a couple of big ones. The Hey Mercedes one at the beginning looks like a big one, and then there's a backpack coming up too. The next project in here is called Clarity, which is another small clutch with handles really. It's got leather handles as a feature on there. I might make my own handles for that. And then the next one I think is the one I'm making now. Oh no, it isn't. The next one is a duffel bag, so this is a big one. It's called Jumpstart Duffel. So the next bag is the one I am making, which is called Festival. Just get the pattern pieces out of the way. So it's just a small, simple bag with a twist lock. So it doesn't require lots and lots of cutting out, which is the worst bit of bag making. The next bag after that, there's lots of bags in here, is Moon and Stars, which has two feature pockets on the front. And after that, we have Tremblement, which is like a sort of a structured tote bag. Not my favourite in there, but if I'm making everything in the book, then I'm going to make that one too. It'd be interesting to see what kind of look it has when you use different fabrics. I think it might just be the fabric choice on that one that I'm not enjoying so much. This is Co-Pilot, so if you've seen the aeroplane bag, this is like the sort of small day version of that, because that's more of a kind of a weekend carry-all bag for when you go away for a weekend. The camera's moving because the dog is leaning against the tripod. The next one is called Beguiling. It's got a sort of a tuck flap feature, and it zips up the top. And this is the backpack that I was talking about earlier, which is kind of cool. I'd maybe make it so that the pocket fabric was made of something else, so it was like two different fabrics on there. It's worth giving it a go. And do I have anything else in here? No, so then it goes through interfacing and techniques and things. So I'm going to go through all of that book, make everything in there. I'm not sure how long it'll take me, and I'm not rushing to kind of finish by a certain date either. We'll just kind of see how I get on. So I've started on the festival. I ran out of interfacing, so I've gone out and bought some more of that. I'm currently hoping to make another one of the Blanche barrel bags. So I bought some more foam interfaces. I bought Soft and Stable this time, and I can now compare that to how well it sews compared to the car headlining product. Hopefully it'll sew a bit smoother. And I've got some more Peltex as well, because I need to finish off my class sample for the second half of the Venti tote bag that I do with the quilted she goes technique. So I've got a bit of homework to do over the next couple of weeks as well. I've also been cutting out these, which I've just spilt all over the floor. I'm going to be starting and hopefully finishing the top at least of the banana candy quilt this week, because I'm going to send it off for a magazine, because I haven't had any magazine projects for a few months now. I am waiting for some magazines to come through the post for my grandma. The previous two issues of Popular Patchwork I had projects in. I think I missed August, and then I'm in the September issue as well, so I'm waiting for that one to arrive with her. But the June and July issues I should have had by now, and they're just taking a long time. I think they're on the boat rather than the plane on the way here. So yeah, I've been playing with my scan and cut, and that's pretty much all I've had time for other than teaching and looking at houses. So we'll see what next week brings. And I still have to put that tutorial out on how to attach rivets, so I'll make sure I get that out this week too.